Hi, Slumber Party listeners. It's your host, Tim Murray, wanting to remind you to make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can stay up to date on all of these interviews. Also, make sure you subscribe to iHeart Radio Broadway Network. I do all sorts of bonus episodes there that aren't available on YouTube. And make sure you're subscribed to my Patreon because you can get extra interviews with these guests, extra interviews with Jessica Bosk, Ben Fankhauser, Andrew Keenan Bolger, and so many more people. Enjoy today's interview. Thanks for watching. Hello, my queefy little Slumber Party listeners. You know that we're doing a month of Alpha Besties, people who are very tight friends. So I had to have one of my besties on the podcast this week, a very good Judy of mine. You, of course, know him from, I don't know if you've ever heard of television, but honey, he's all over the TV on so many of our favorite shows. And of course, some sketches, some comedy sketches. I don't know if you've ever heard of The Unfunny Gay Guys, but this person stars opposite me in those. And of course, the sketch that he wrote, directed, cast me in, thank God, Stage Door Manners, which we'll get into it, but I still get stopped by people all the time from that. We have a new listener of the pod who's a fan of that I'm gonna look up her name on Instagram because we need to shout her out. Longest intro ever. He also has a new podcast called Review That Review with his friend Chelsea Dawn. Please welcome to the stage Trey Gerrald.
It's me. I'm so glad to be on Tom Mowry's podcast.
You're so
again.
stupid.
Wait, I wore the shirts. I wore the shirt
What?
specifically for you.
Wait, okay, I'm obsessed with the shirt. Listener, I know you can't see, so I'll describe the shirt. The shirt is of a gay bathhouse. It's Bette Midler eating a twink's butt while singing Boogie Boogie Bugle Boy.
From Company B. You know, David's parents used to go see her at bathhouses?
Shut up. That is true.
Truly, it's a true story.
Okay, wait. David's parents were straight, obviously.
Yes.
They just went to bathhouses because they were fans of her. So those of you who don't know, Bette Midler came up doing a lot of gay bathhouses in Chelsea, I believe. Literally, she would go there and sing cabaret act style.
I think it was on 10th Avenue before it was Disneyfied.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think the true story here is that David's dad had a business associate who took them out on a double date, and the entertainment afterwards was to see this up and coming singer, and it was at a gay bathhouse, and it was Bette Midler.
Wait, that is absolutely incredible. Also, what a true icon and ally.
His shirt doesn't actually have Bette Midler in a twink. It is the one, the only Drew Barrymore from Scream 1, my absolute favorite movie.
Casey Becker.
Casey Becker, R.I.P. R.I.P. to Casey Becker.
Too soon.
Gone too soon.
Gone too soon.
Fought for our rights. Gone too soon.
Are you excited for Scream 5? I'm sorry, Scream.
Scream 5 Eva. I am very excited. I'm mostly, I was gonna say I'm a little nervous, but I'm not. I think they're gonna do a great job. I think the fact that Neve Campbell wants to come back is really a big deal. How about you?
Oh, I'm so excited. It's now in my algorithm on YouTube, anytime any of these crazy people report any sort of we found a call sheet, or someone in the screening room of the first rough cut without any music said that there's going to be death. It's oh, great, cool. I'm getting all the spoilers. I'm very excited.
Oh my God. Okay, I need to get that into my algorithm because I started watching the early, maybe a year and a half ago when she was doing the interviews about why she decided to do it. I still haven't seen Ready or Not, the movie that those directors made. Do you know this? She was
I tried to watch it, but you have to pay for it.
Okay, don't like paying for things.
No, I thought it would be, I literally pay now, Paramount Plus, hello, we'll get there. Amazon, Prime, Hulu, Netflix, Wow Presents Plus. It's I'm not paying $3.99 to watch your movie if you're not on one of these platforms.
No, there's so much content out there that I can't be paying more for all that stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't understand why they're calling it Scream 5 Eva, but I am ready.
No, they're now calling it Scream.
Which that I don't like. What?
Well, it's a revamp. I can tell you because I am in all the algorithms. It's a revamp. They're sort of setting it. I think it's going to be a new class of people, basically, which is what they wanted to do with 4, but it didn't really pan out.
Oh, okay. I like that, but it's then I don't know, call it Scream the Reboot or something. It's like,
Well, that's what it is. But they're saying it's not a reboot. But this means one of the three of them has to be the first kill.
okay, if that is true, that will have my jaw on the floor.
Well, it's
Because
going
we
to have
have-
to be. Otherwise, why do they all come back again?
Right. But I mean, they just
So-
love the three of them love doing this franchise. They like love each other. Like,
I
obviously,
don't know if that's true.
You don't think so?
No, there's tea that Courtney like was very much like, I'll only return to 4 if I die. And so like one of the drafts of 4, she died. And then it like ended up being changed. And then I think David Arquette is just down to clown whenever. But I think Neve Campbell's, she's like, I don't know, I'm a parent. Who cares?
She has been so good about being like, I'm going to be off to the side, doing my own thing, living in London, having the time of my life, still looking like a 25-year-old woman. But
That's amazing.
But what about all those interviews after the 4th one where they said they realized coming back together like a decade later that they're all really good friends and there are things about each other that they didn't realize. Like there's all these interviews where Courtney Cox is like, I wish I had gotten to know Neve Campbell better in the first 3 because she's like spiritual and cool and just like an awesome person. And I think, like, let's be honest, for women of a certain age in this business, there's not that much work. So no franchise is going to pay them, other than Friends, the reboot for Courtney. No franchise is going to pay them that kind of money where they get to like do that kind of stylized fun. And I think that they probably all enjoy that now that they've had so many years away from it. I think after Scream 3, they were like, okay, I don't want to be they were all like, I need to have a different identity. But now I think it's like nostalgic and fun, I assume, for them.
Well, I think the big factor was when Wes Craven died, they sort of were like, well, there's no way we're coming back with this, him at the center. And then Kevin Williamson, who wrote it, like he was not a part of this reboot until he read the draft and was like, oh, this is incredible. I will be an executive producer. Like he was ready to pass the reins. Excited. Yeah. So this is the only good thing from Harvey Weinstein's downfall, that they sold the property and now it can like live in a new era.
Okay, that's incredible.
Right?
I didn't realize that was because we took him down.
Because he owned Dimension Films. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Which has now been dissolved and the catalog has been purchased. And so now they can like, someone new owns it. And so that's why we're getting a new one.
Oh my God. Do you think we're going to get more I Know What You Did Last Summer or more? Dimension Films did a lot of great horror. What were you going to say?
I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Those are epic that I feel like are always in the shadow, but also Kevin Williamson.
They're Kevin Williamson, which is great. They're the Christina Aguilera to Scream as Britney Spears. Like,
yeah,
and rightfully so. They're not as good as this. They're very fun.
Well, this is a very tricky topic because I have seen Christina Aguilera live in Las Vegas. She started an hour and a half late.
Well, I saw Britney Spears Baby One More Time live at the ripe age of 12, and she did start well over an hour late as well. So a diva has to keep us waiting.
I mean, this analogy is a little not correct to me because I do think that maybe Scream is superior to I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I'm not sure
if
Britney
is superior to Christina. Don't even try it with me on my podcast, Trey.
I mean, I'm a Britney stan. I'm not like, I don't know why I'm in this like debate all of a sudden, but I can't tell you which one is better than the other because I think they have very different skill sets.
Okay, fair. And yeah, we shouldn't be pitting women against each other.
No, let's uplift women. This is Pride Month. We have to uplift our allies.
And let's be honest. I'm Britney through and through till the day that I die. But did I look at buying tickets to see Christina at the Hollywood Bowl? I looked at them. Did I make Michael put on "Come On Over, Baby" yesterday in the car and then "What a Girl Wants"? Yes, I did. That album really bops. It really
I had her Latin album. Una mujer que desea me.
People. How fucked up is it that she is like absolutely half Latinx and I believe her father is Ecuadorian and she was so like passed in the media as like a white person for so long.
Yeah.
And then fierce that she came out with that Latin album.
That bleached blonde hair, babe.
Okay. As long as we're talking about Christina and Britney, All-Star 6, Kylie Sonique Love.
Okay, wait. I have only watched episode 1.
Okay. What did you think about episode 1?
Oh, it's like great. It seems like this is controversial, but I've actually been waiting for Serena Chacha to return. Like, because I feel like she was like 18 years old, did not have a good show. And personally, in my opinion, now there's this whole narrative around All Stars that it's like literally we're returning for redemption and a whole new crop of kids who have never heard of me. Like, if that's really what we're doing, then I want to see these first 3 outs on each season. Like, I do want to see the growth. And Serena Chacha, I know there's this like made up drama about Akira and this wig, and like, you know, everyone wants some press time, but like she has a crazy hair empire and like is incredibly gifted. So I was actually excited to see what she would do, and I was kind of disappointed that she was the first out, but it makes sense and whatever. She's not who I was rooting for, but
Can you imagine Serena Chacha for the crown?
it is interesting when you really stop and think about it. Like, there's no way that like that entity will get into the Hall of Fame, but you know,
And
who
right,
do you
should
think's
have it.
going to win?
Okay, who I think is going to win is Eureka O'Hara. Who I want to win is Kylie Sonique Love.
Yeah, and I think Ginger's probably in there too.
I think Ginger has a very is definitely in the top, in my opinion. Like, how could she not be? To me, Ginger is far and away the best queen by far out of this whole cast of queens. Like, the funniest. That's the queen who I would pay the most money to go see a live show of. Also, former guest of the pod. Thank you, Ginger. We love you. But I think so far on the show, she's not. The looks are not elevated in the way that I think might help her take the crown. And she just doesn't really have as much to prove. Like, I feel like Eureka is like, I was so close to that crown. I can taste it. I am going for it. And same with Kylie Sonique Love, who I'm literally like, oh, and of course, the person who I would like actually love to win the crown is Yara Sofia. Like, she is making me die laughing.
Okay, I have like 9 different topics to jump off of from that sentence you just had.
Go for it.
I just quickly have to say, Ginger Minge is like incredibly Christian, which is wonderful. You know, I'm from an era and the South where that meant Christianity meant something bad if you were gay. And I know that we are now in a new era where that is not true. So I have some bias there that I'm still unpacking in my life. But I always think that when I think of Ginger Minge, she's very Christian. Also, she and her husband adopted her nephew. Do you know the story?
I do know this a little bit.
And they raised this nephew, which so like that just like tugs at my heart, and that's such a thing. So maybe that comes up with finances and not the same budget that Eureka O'Hara can afford.
Sure. And also, for what it's worth, Ginger was on very briefly on All Stars 2, and season 7, she's never been on VH1. Well, now Paramount Plus. So period, she's never been on VH1. So she's never had the kind of, like, Ginger only has like 500,000 only. That's a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah, but not for those queens.
But compared to like Aquaria, Trixie from her season, like they have in the millions. So, and you know, so yeah, maybe she doesn't have I know for a fact that Eureka O'Hara's budget when she gets asked to do like a Pride event is her asking price is very, very high. So yeah, maybe she does have more coin. However, go ahead.
Well, I think that Eureka is better for the brand. Like, I imagine that Eureka, like with this whole HBO show, like I think that World of Wonder would be smart to crown her first plus size, which is insane. First, for her to be the all-star. And then I was also going to say, I don't know if this is an NDA breach, but I do know someone who happened to be at the live taping of the season 11 finale. And I know that the crowd was going wild for Eureka, screaming her name, chanting for Eureka. And that's not actually who ended up winning the season.
Okay, so a slight correction. It was the season 10 finale.
10
and
10s across the board.
Is the person me? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but I didn't know if like you weren't allowed to.
Oh, we can talk about
that.
it. No, I don't. They didn't make us sign NDAs as 1,400 audience members.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that you were
10.
there, and the crowd was like screaming, like it was like you left, being like Eureka is going to win.
Okay, it's a slight correction to that as well. You are absolutely right. The crowd was screaming for Asia O'Hara. That was the crowd favorite. by far. Like before when it was just the interviews at first, people were gagged for Asia. That's who the crowd was on side for. Then there was nothing we could do. The butterfly thing was very obvious. We turned on her quickly because it was a bad performance. Then what I told you, what happened was, you're mostly correct. Aquaria and Eureka lip sync against each other. Aquaria fell in the lip sync. And they did not show that on TV. She slipped on one of Eureka's like several costume reveals. And however, it did, I will say, it did feel like a tie, that lip sync.
Maybe that's what you said, and my memory is changed.
But you are right. After the lip sync was over, the crowd often, Sasha, like they tell Rue who they want to win, and it was Eureka. It was Eureka after that lip sync, because the reveals were so fierce, I think. Then Eureka goes up to the crowd and gives them like a shush with her hands, and as soon as she did that, the crowd then also went Aquaria, Aquaria. So that was the one and only time that the crowd did yell both names. So it did make sense that they both got passed on the finale. And then after the final lip sync, I don't think anybody's names got chanted, or maybe everyone's did, and it was just like so much happening. But I do remember my friend texting me, who was sitting in a different part of the theater, saying, when Eureka was getting every single word of that rap section of Bang Bang, he was like, I think it's Eureka's to take. But I kind of left being like, it could be Eureka or Aquaria.
I mean, that's how I felt myself. Like I would be happy with either one winning. I like both of them.
Yeah, I think they're both so great. And obviously Kylie Sonique Love is, really stepped up her game for this season.
It's really, when they showed like the package from like her season 2 or 3, two. It's like, oh wow, she really looks like a huge glow up. I also love Trinity.
Oh, love Trinity. And
not a good show on episode 1, but
episode 1 was not a good show.
Did you see her red carpet look?
No, fierce.
It's like probably like 20 feet long train with like 6 assistants, and they hold it up behind her, so she covers the entire step and repeat.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's definitely a
unfortunately
flex.
Her makeup for me is not elevated from her first season. The makeup's not good. However, I won't spoil anything about episode 2, but this will come out a week from Wednesday, so like we'll already have seen, I think, episode 4 by then, by the time people are listening to this. So those listening will know when I say that episode 2, her third runway is spectacular, and she made it herself. And I do see good things. I think she's at least going to make it middle of the road, hopefully.
Oh my God, that performance of her in Continental, where I forget what the number is. It might be Beyonce or something, but oh my gosh, she's so fierce.
Her lip syncs are iconic. However, also, I know you saw in episode 1 that she got voted by Yara Sofia to leave. And I'm worried that is going to become
a storyline.
And honey, I'm Team Jara to the end of the earth. Like, she is, to me, one of the funniest people to ever. When they played her clips from her season 3, and she's like, "Oh, I'm pooping myself." I just like, she is so ridiculous, and I love her so much.
When I was in Vegas, I only went to Piranha to see her, and she wasn't there.
Not India Farah?
No, I mean, I would have been cool with that too. That was before that All Stars aired. But I love Yara Sofia as well. But when I rewatched season 3, she totally gives up, which is fine. Like, I don't know what that experience is like to film that and be that tired and just exhausted, but she literally just gives up. So that's sort of hard for me. And I rewatched All Stars 1 as well. And it was sort of like, yeah, I mean, like, this is the right time to exit. So to me, I love her. She's entertaining. I wanted to see her live. I went to a bar, paid an admission fee, and she was out that week. So no disrespect to her, but I'm not really rooting for her to win.
She's very polarizing queen. I have this conversation, I think, with several
really?
days. A lot of people are like,
I love her.
I put her in my top 4, and several people, like in my prediction for top 4, and several people DM'd me being like, "That is wild, girl. That's not going to happen." But I don't know. I mean, season 3 was such a strong season, and she did make it so far. And I mean, she looks really good. Her looks are elevated. She can sew the house down. And at the end of the day, like, I just want entertaining queens, and she's
Yeah.
the best talking head. So I'm like, for that reason, I'm rooting for her.
Amen.
Trey, you have a podcast.
Can you hear this lawnmower?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, good. You have a podcast that you've started this week. I've listened to all 3 episodes.
You did?
I did. I'm loving it so much.
Oh my God, Tim, that's so nice of you.
It's so great, Trey. Tell the people the concept.
Okay, so my friend Chelsea Dawn and I created a podcast called Review That Review. And we bill ourselves as the Siskel and Ebert of online reviews. So Siskel and Ebert were very famous for doing thumbs up, thumbs down for cinematic masterpieces. And we rate and review on a scale of 1 to 5 crowns, because we're the review queens, all of those horrible, hilarious, scathing, sometimes suspicious Yelp, TripAdvisor, Amazon, Google reviews. So instead of covering the Titanic, we cover, the Squatty Potty review on Amazon.
It's so much fun. You guys have such great chemistry together.
Oh,
And Trey,
thanks.
that idea is truly genius. Like when you told me that, I was like, that is such a good idea. We've all been, I think, hurt by reviews, scathed by reviews in the past. Anyone who's like looked at a comment section on social media. And I think the whole thing is like so ridiculous. So it's fun to like poke fun at it. And in honor of you, I looked up reviews on BroadwayWorld.com and some Yelp reviews for Broadway shows and other things of this nature. Before we begin, I want to ask you a new segment, since this is on iHeart Radio Broadway Network. Do you care about Broadway?
Oh, girl, I wish that I could be on Broadway, but I ain't got the goods, hun.
Honey, you have the goods. You're a live theater actress in here. I saw you in Byron Cellar. Thank you so much.
Not on
You got the
Broadway.
goods.
Yeah, no, I'm totally a Broadway fan. I studied musical theater, and my first dream was to be in a Broadway musical. I love Broadway. And in honor of being on Slumber Party, I actually brought in a review that I thought we could do a little review that review pass on in honor of you.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to read it. I seriously have so many. So I'll do my first 3 and then we'll do yours.
Perfect.
And I'll do my last 3.
Do you want to do you want me to play my little sound effects? I have my soundboard if you can let me share my screen with you.
Last time we tried to do share screen with Big Dipper and Meatball on, it didn't work. So
forget.
We won't do the sound effects, but
cut that out. Cut that out.
Cut it out. Cut that out. Cut that out. I'm talking to my dog now. Cut that out. Stop. Cut that out. I don't have a dog. Okay, so I looked up.
Okay, yeah.
For you.
So the deal is how Chelsea and I do this. We find a review, we read it to the other person, and then we have a conversation back and forth, and then we rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 crowns. So
I want people to go to your pod for that section.
Okay.
So if you're intrigued by that, listen to and subscribe to Review That Review. So for today, for Slumber Party, because I don't want to take your idea, I just want to read them to each other.
Okay, read it.
Okay, because there's seriously so many insane ones. I'm only going to read little sections of ones. This one is about the Wicked movie on BroadwayWorld.com. And people on Broadway World are having a huge fight about the working title is called Western Sky.
What? Is this real?
This is real. The working title is called Western Sky because
why are they changing the title?
Because people do that all the time with working titles, right? Like Untitled Tina Fey Project, or like they're trying to keep it the working title, I think, so that press doesn't like see it in their Google alerts or whatever, like that it's Wicked. They're obviously going to call it Wicked, but people are fighting about it. And this person just replied to someone who was like, are they calling this movie Western Sky? I'm not seeing it if they're calling it Western Sky. And somebody just wrote, get a grip. Many, if not most, films use a working title during filming. I just really loved Get a Grip.
Get a grip.
Get a grip, girl. And then somebody wrote, they're having a big debate about who should be Elphaba, should be Glinda. Personally, wait, I need to read their names because that's often the best part. That was Fosse76. And then Name Greg said, personally, I think a famous Glinda and a smaller name Elphaba would work fairly well, given it would reflect their initial dynamics as the popular and unpopular girl.
The name Greg has a really great point.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, that would be so fierce.
So like a total no-named Elphaba, and then like, of course, the best singer of all time, Amanda Seyfried.
I hate you.
So many people on here say they want Amanda Seyfried, and it literally makes me sick to my stomach.
It's just because people don't have any imagination. We've seen her in all these musicals, so we just think her.
Okay, I love Amanda Seyfried. She's a wildly talented actress, stunning. She is a terrible vocalist. She cannot sing that score.
Lots of people are terrible vocalists who are hired to sing. It's fine.
Except now that we have John M. Chu cast in the Heights with amazing
Oh
vocalists.
my God, so
amazing vocalists. Like
Yeah.
that is what can make a movie musical so much better. So that's what I want. Okay, so then I found some other reviews. First of all, I was looking up reviews for Phantom of the Opera on Yelp, and I can't even read them because almost every single one is like, loved the show. The staff at the theater were so rude to me and my friend. Like every single one is just like coming for the ushers, which
Oh,
I also want to talk to you about because I think it's interesting. I almost always am on the side of the worker, not the reviewer.
this is
Because
a really great point you're bringing up, because that's something that I have really been trying to be conscious of. Is I often go into reading these 1-star reviews like they're a Karen and I am not on their side. So it's been really interesting when I really find one that really persuades me into thinking like, oh, this person was wronged and they have the right to share their opinion, rather than being like, this stupid person.
right, which totally happens. I mean
Yes.
that is a very real thing. However, I just as someone who puts a lot of content out into the world, who creates a lot of stuff, and who has literally I've maybe been like wronged as a customer to the point where I wanted to say something or leave a review probably under 10 times in my 33 years of life.
Same.
I don't think I've ever written a review for anything, even when I've been like totally scammed. But I have been on the other side where I'm like working really hard and putting things out into the world. And I know a lot of people, especially Karens, who have never had a job in their life, who like married wealthy and are using all the extra energy they have and brain power to take down somebody else's thing that they're working so hard on. And I find it really hard to ever be on their side because especially okay, you guys read a review because we'll get into the Planet Hollywood ones. I have pulled up some reviews from my former place of employment, Planet Hollywood in Times Square, and on the third episode of your pod, you and Chelsea read a review from Chelsea found it from an Olive Garden, I believe, in Times Square,
Correct.
and I wanted to jump inside the podcast so bad and scream because I, as I mean, I know you said you've also worked in restaurants for many years, but as someone who has worked at a restaurant in Times
In Times
Square, like
Square.
that woman's entitlement, her like absolutely rude. Those people working in Times Square, first of all, they're making no money.
Mhm.
They're working their butts off. The hours are horrible. The managers are horrible. The tips are horrible. Everything. It's such a bad job.
And context, that reviewer was a Yelp elite reviewer, which means she's reviewed over 600 reviews. And it was the eve of New Year's Eve.
The eve of New Year's Eve, which is not a thing, one. Two,
Thank
okay,
you.
that makes me sick to my stomach. If you are able to write over 600 reviews, think about all the good you could do in the world that's not telling people whether or not they should eat at a restaurant. Like, if you have the time
Right.
to create 600 reviews, you could be putting something into the world rather than criticizing other people's work. I think that's like,
Well,
that just
I think that was Crystal, maybe. I think Crystal W. I think that that's what she thinks she's doing. And what's really interesting, having looked at all of these reviews, is it becomes very apparent people's perception of their own privilege. And
mm,
and so you can get a very clear assessment of how they see themselves in the world and what their expectations are. And on a deeper level, which is like, it's a comedy podcast, but Chelsea and I have started to realize, and you were saying this earlier, going through all of these 1-star reviews, you start to realize that everyone has an opinion and none of them are more valid than the other. And so
yeah.
after a while, it's just like, oh, like there's no power in someone's negative opinion unless you say that there is,
Unless you
which
give
has
it
been
power.
a very cool experience.
Okay, I love that, but it's hard because it's like Amy Schumer says, like she gets so much shit online all the time,
She
and
does.
she was like, I don't. She's like, I don't know if this is good or bad, but negative comments, I'm numb to them now. Like it doesn't mean anything. Like truly, it doesn't phase me.
That's
But
real power there.
that's real power. I don't know how to get there because, as the listeners know, somebody left like a really scathing negative review about this podcast, and I feel like
I actually
attacking.
used it on one of our rehearsal podcasts.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I love that. And it really messed me up for like a while. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, if this person thinks that about me, like, I wonder if all my listeners think that about me, which is not true. But
But this
it
is
just,
also like, this is another dynamic is like corporations like Times Square, Olive Garden, I think can handle it differently than like an independent artist who's creating their own content. Like that's a different level of criticism. You know, it's like,
that's totally true. However, for I'm going to assume a white woman from the Midwest comes to Times Square and uses the name of Kanesha in her review, like
Shaya.
that girl Kashaya in her review, that girl Kashaya is affected by that. If you get your name written in a review, your
She could be
manager,
fired.
she could be fired. So trying to hold that kind of power over someone who is, I'm sorry, working on the eve of New Year's Eve is so deeply messed up. Like that is, this person is working really, really, really hard and you're on vacation. Like, get a grip.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Episode 4, we have a 1-star and a 5-star of a wedding DJ from the Knot,
Okay.
which has also
Okay, I
been
love that.
that's an interesting dynamic we're going to throw in more too, is like seeing both ends of the spectrum, because it really is just highlighting everyone has an opinion. Like, come on.
It's so true. Speaking of everyone has an opinion, I pulled up some reviews from Yelp from the Christmas Spectacular. Radio City Christmas Spectacular. And it just said, oh wait, Tourist Trap. There's a 1-star review. Tourist Trap. Very poor quality show with BS acting, acting's in quotations, with BS acting by Santa. If you can call it acting. It was super cheesy and like a best of playlist of Christmas hits. I'm pretty sure Tchaikovsky is embarrassed by the stuffed animals dancing to his songs. I'm embarrassed for him. Okay, that really got me.
Where is that from?
Yelp.
Mm.
And then there's another one for that same show that says, not good for young generation, ... too boring, ... fell asleep, ...
I actually went to see the Rockettes for the very first time in my life right in 2019. And I was blown away. I mean, it's so amazing.
It's unbelievable. I saw when I was a kid, but like, I'm sure, I mean,
But what this reviewer is saying is correct. I mean, it's cheesy as F, and like it is just a hit list of Christmas songs, but that's what you're going for.
that's exactly it. And here's my thing with these reviewers. Okay, first of all, if you are going to a city, I have never in my life gone to a city without doing some research. Like, I truly have no patience for someone this basic. Like, if you are not going to New York City and like supporting a Black playwright and someone, like, if you're not going to go see Slave play, but you're going to go see Radio City Christmas Spectacular, and then you're disappointed by how basic it is, honey, you're not trying hard enough. Like, if you're going to go to Times Square and eat at the Olive Garden or eat at the Planet Hollywood reviews that I'm reading, and you're shocked by how bad it was, you did this to yourself. You have done nothing other than the very basic minimum. I saw a billboard, I'm in Times Square. I would never go to another country, another city, and just go to the closest thing to that first subway stop. It's not that hard to do a little research to enjoy your life a little better. And then these people have a victim narrative because they're like all pissed off that it didn't go the way that they wanted.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah.
Okay. This one is about Planet Hollywood in Times Square. It says, I ordered the Impossible Burger, but what I got was not an Impossible Burger. It was more like a raw meat looking hockey puck. It tasted all right, but made me worried I was going to get salmonella. My friend ordered the LA lasagna and it turned out to be more like pureed meat. She only could eat the pasta portion and cheese. She was so excited, only got disappointed. I enjoyed Planet Hollywood in Florida, but not so much at the New York location.
Wait, this is Yelp?
Yelp, one
What's the
star.
reviewer's name?
Asia S.
So Asia S got an Impossible burger patty, said it was undercooked, but it tasted good and was worried they were going to get sick. So girl, why'd you eat it?
Girl, why'd you eat it? Girl, why are you reviewing food at Planet Hollywood Times Square? Like what? How dense are you that this is like? It's truly shocking to me.
Also, send it back. As a Southerner, I know that if that steak is not well done enough, you can send it back and it'll come back more crispy and with spit on it. So if you think your Impossible burger is undercooked, ask them to cook it longer. That's easy.
Girl, okay, the Midwestern in me just shivered at you saying send it back. That's such a Southern thing. I would like, I don't think I've ever sent anything back in my whole life. Maybe one time when my mom ordered something actually in the South, in South Carolina. She ordered something and it was like really, 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 really terrible. And I sent it back for her, but I've never sent something back for myself.
No, I would.
I need to.
I am not a person to send something back, but I'm saying if you're someone that's going to write a review on Yelp, why don't you just send it back and move on with your life?
Rather than being angry after the fact,
right.
Try to take some control. Okay, this one says my boyfriend and I, okay, Lauren D, 1-star review on Yelp. Please do not eat here! Exclamation point. My boyfriend and I, okay, this one I am on the side of the reviewer. This is fucked up. My boyfriend and I are visiting NYC for our anniversary, but have spent our last day in our hotel room due to food poisoning.
No.
Resulting in us having no choice but to get another night now at out $350.
That's a cheap price.
That is, but still, but if you're like, from wherever, it's not a cheap price. If you're used to hotels being $60 a night and like Ohio.
Oh my God, imagine the terror of having to fly back with food poisoning. And then realizing that's not going to happen. And then you have to get another night stay. Wait, you worked here. Do you think that food poisoning is possible in that kitchen?
Yes, of course.
Really?
100%.
Really?
I'm telling you, everything about that job was horrible. Like
would you eat the staff meal at night?
Get this, girl. We didn't get a staff meal. We got a 15% discount.
That is horrible. How dare them?
And guess what? If you took your break in the middle to eat the staff meal, your tables got taken away. So you didn't get the tips from like tables you'd already been serving.
Wow,
so
they really didn't want you to eat.
No, what they did, which was truly fucked up, was we had to get there at 4 p.m. every day, check in for a pre-staff meeting for 10 minutes. Horrible. So always like reading off of a corporate like list that someone in an office in Orlando typed up. And then after that, we had to take a 30-minute or 45-minute break. I think 30-minute break, and then start our shift. So we had to show up, sign in, then take a 30-minute break, and then come back at 4:45 and actually start our shift then. So we had to get to work.
Get paid?
Nope.
Until you clocked in for the shift. Wow.
Right. We were forced to take our breaks because the other option is to take your break during your shift. But if you do that, you had to give up your tables.
Wow.
It was deeply messed up. That's why I'm saying like these reviewers are not in the right. If you're reviewing a restaurant in Times Square, like these people have a terrible, terrible job. Most of them are like have moved to that city to try to do something else, and this is truly a survival job.
Yeah.
It just like I have no sympathy for people reviewing Times Square, except for this girl who got food poisoning, which is truly horrible. It's all frozen food that's like sitting in a freezer somewhere, so that if you take frozen food and it's sitting out too long, of course you get food poisoning. I'm sure some of those chefs didn't cook it all the way through, and I'm sure it was bad. Also, it's a place where people work where they don't know what they're doing, like me. So like I had only worked at a couple restaurants when I got that job, and I did some absolutely questionable thing. One time I absolutely forgot to ring in somebody's food for like a very long time.
Do you have nightmares?
Oh, I still have nightmares about it.
I still have waiting. Yeah, still.
Because it's horrible, right?
I
It's so
remember one
stressful.
time, this is really bad. I worked at like a small restaurant. Someone requested decaf and we didn't have decaf. And I just gave them regular.
I
But
feel like
that's,
you murdered someone. This is really bad.
I mean, it was brunch, so they had enough time, but it's like, you can't do that, Trey. Why did I do that?
They're probably walking around like so
Still
jittery.
today, like
Still
7 years
today,
later.
they're still rocked
Okay,
by
wait,
that.
Tim. I have a review specifically picked for you in the podcast.
I can't wait.
Attention, attention, iHeart Radio Broadway listeners. I found a 1-star review from a website called showscore.com.
I was looking on there too. I can't wait to hear this.
So this is a score of 45 out of a possible 100 from a reviewer named Jesse H7185.
To give some context, I was looking at show score and I didn't see any that low. So this is low.
And this is for a Broadway musical called Wicked.
Don't come for my girl. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Jesse H says, great singing, overrated, great acting, insipid, bombastic. Those are like adjectives that you can like select when you're reviewing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it says you have to answer in 3 sections: see it, if, don't see it, if, and then also. So Jesse wrote, see it if you're a tourist who wants a big show with impressive effects.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Don't see it if you want a deep, thought-provoking, emotionally engaging show or songs that don't make you want to drink bleach.
Oh.
Also, I liked Wicked when I first saw it, and then I grew up. In hindsight, Wicked is a pretty bad musical. Its plot is insipid. Its songs are generally terrible. I intend to rewatch it someday to see if what I remember really holds up, but my expectations are low. It's not a great show. It's not a good show. It's bad. And its success speaks volumes more about its audience than it does about Wicked itself.
What is this person's name?
Jesse H.
Jesse H, meet me in the parking lot. 5 p.m. today. Me, everyone from school will be there. I'm going to beat your ass, Jesse H. This is not okay with me. How do you feel about that review, Trey?
You know, well, I would have to point out the grammatical spelling mistake. I don't think that Jesse H did a spell check pass. And, you know, they're very opinionated. The drinking bleach was very
that's rude.
Visually and evocative. What? Visually stimulating. I think that they're very stuck in their bias of what a musical should be, and I don't personally agree. I think it's incredibly emotionally engaging. How do you not feel? Who doesn't feel emotional at the end of For Good?
For Good, that's what I'm saying. And like, I'm sorry.
Also, how do you not like freak out when she starts flying? Like, it's like the most like theatrical emotional manipulation, like done beautifully to like the peak of success. Like Joe Mantello's brilliant, simple work of her just flying up in the air, like belting at the top of like human possibility. Like, how do you not get excited? Like, I think even straight grandpas get excited.
Yes. It's truly incredible when you're sitting in that theater and you're watching someone sing at that level. That's like some of the best female vocal belting music that there is. Like undeniably so good. And then watching them fly while doing it, like you said, so expertly. I think this person is projecting their own experience. I think they need to go to therapy because there's something inside them that feels that they don't deserve the chance to fly. But as we know, it's saying that everyone deserves a chance to fly. And this person has an emotional block and they're not allowing themselves to get there with Wicked.
You know, in the 17, 18 years that Wicked has been on Broadway, I've had full circle moments. At first, I was really into the cast recording. And then I saw it and I was like, this is like spectacle musical theater trash. And then I really turned around and, you know, I really love Wicked. I've seen it twice. We bought tickets to see it as soon as Broadway returns.
Stop it.
Yeah, it was the first.
Okay, Lindsay Heather Pierce will be the Elphaba when you see
She's
it.
so good. Oh my god.
She's so good. We had her on the pod, and
I didn't know she was on Glee.
Oh yeah, she was on the Glee project, and then her little arc on Glee was amazing. She was like only in a couple episodes, but she was like the girl to beat for Leah Michele. Like she was like a rival. She was like a rival high school girl who went up to Leah Michele and was like, "Oh my god," basically like kind of fangirling, being like, "We're so excited you guys are here. We love like the new directions. Let me show you what we've cooked up." And then it was like, boom, boom, times have changed, and she's
so pretty too.
She's so beautiful.
Like I feel like she could be a model, and then she can sing like that too. It's stupid.
Her voice is so good. I'm so jealous that you're seeing that. I really cannot wait to get back to New York and see that show.
We're just gonna cry. Broadway was trickling out. Like people started, shows started premiering a little earlier than other shows that were announced, which sucks because we bought tickets to see Chicago because it was the first show to return, and then we had already bought tickets to see our mutual friend Andre and Diana the musical, which I did see in previews. So I'm going again because that was the first to return. And now they're opening sooner. And then we were like, let's get Wicked because we want to see the first show. And then now shows are opening before Wicked. So anyway, we're seeing Wicked, Diana, and Chicago, all shows I've already seen.
Oh my God.
We gotta support Broadway.
You gotta support Broadway, and
I'm gonna be a crying mess. Oh my god. You know what, Jesse H? I'm gonna prove Jesse H wrong because I'm gonna be feeling all the emotions when I see Wicked once Broadway has returned. I'm just gonna be crying in every scene. They're gonna.
Can you imagine?
It's gonna be like that clock dragon thing is gonna start moving. I'm gonna cry.
I would definitely cry. Being able to experience that again. When Glinda comes out and says, "It's good to see me," isn't it?
It's going to be a standing ovation. I bet people are going to lose their mind.
A standing ovation, and it's just such an amazing thing. People work their entire lives. Like I said, you're a very talented actor. I know I'm a very talented actor, honey. Neither of us have ever been on Broadway. People truly work forever. They blood, sweat, and tears to get there. My old roommate at BOCO, my first roommate ever, a BOCO graduate, thank you so much, Meg Doherty Scannell. She was my first roommate in Astoria. We worked together at a resort in Maine where I was a moose. Thank you so much. And she made her Broadway debut in Wicked 3 weeks before the shutdown. Her very first Broadway show, she's in the ensemble, and she had to do it for 3 weeks. And the fact that she gets to go back to doing her dream after waiting, she's in her mid 30s. It finally happened.
Who is she in the ensemble?
Taken away. She's this horrible green wizard throughout the land it flies.
So does she cover Elphaba?
She does not cover Elphaba. I think she's straight ensemble track. I don't think she covers anything.
Does she give Elphaba the hat? Fanny, or what are those girls' names? They have.
Oh my god, I love that you know their names. Probably. She probably gives Elphie the hat. She's very much like the Belter track. Okay, wait. Right. I have to redo the rest of this review because it is so wild. Okay, I'll skip that one too. But basically, that last one was just a truly crazy one where this girl was like, "I think our waiter was drunk."
Is that possible?
Oh yes. Not only that, not only drunk and doing drugs often, the waiters and one of the managers got arrested right after I worked there for stealing money from the restaurant. They would put in a burger or a drink or whatever, and then the manager would come over and comp it, and then the manager and the server would split the money, which is obviously also when we worked there, we had to cash out with a girl upstairs and hand all our money to her. And she one time left with the I think $14,000 that the restaurant made that day, which was girl, that is not enough to commit. That's enough money that you're going to go to jail for too long of a time, and it's not enough money to risk.
And also, what a dumb crime. It's so obvious, honey.
They 100% knew it was her. People were up there just waiting to clock out with their the rest of the people that were left with their handfuls of cash, probably another $2,000 was going to come in that day, and she's not there, gone.
That drunk conversation though, like I remember at my restaurant, one of the the main manager, when he was on shift before closing, he would gather all the waiters and we would do a shot. Like another like 2 hours left. And I hated it because I'm such a goody goody and I was afraid that I
Yeah.
would be tipsy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I hated that. I hate that too because it's like a sort of weird culture of like alcoholism. Being
Yeah,
like, you
but
should not be ever, you should never, ever, ever, period, point blank, be drinking in your job. It's not a good
yeah.
idea.
But it
It's
was
terrible.
meant as company morale.
Okay, no. And I was looking up my local restaurants that I worked at after Planet Hollywood. I worked at several restaurants and they all closed down so that they take the Yelp reviews down.
Oh
So I
no.
wanted to find that, but people, when I worked at Reposo, the wine bar, I mean, people would drink the entire shift, almost everyone. I never did because it was like just so tragic to me. But like, yeah, like truly would start drinking the whole time. It was sad.
That is
I
sad.
I mean, they were able to do their jobs well, but it's like you don't need to be dependent on a substance to get through your work. Okay, this one from Sydney W says, if I could put 0 stars, I would. I got mac and cheese and it was literally just crusty Velveeta sauce. The cookie
Ew.
was harder than a rock and hella cold. I'm also pretty sure the waiters all spit in our food while simultaneously planning their suicide. So if ever in this area, head over to some other more authentic New York cuisine. I mean, that is vicious. That's a vicious review.
I mean, I that phrase, if I could give 0 stars, I would, is like so obnoxious because it comes up. People think they're being clever, but so many people write that. But also, who thinks that Planet Hollywood is authentic New York cuisine?
That's the
Ho-
thing.
they're
What?
like known for being all over the world. So like it's not New York at all, honey.
Even if you are from Nebraska, okay, if you're English as a second language person from another country, you get a pass. That makes sense to me. It's hard to figure out, a lot of stuff when you're in a place where you don't speak that language. And that we had a lot of those people who'd come into Planet Hollywood, and so like probably 3 of the 4 tables would be people from countries that are not America, and they would tip nothing. And so then you'd like pray for that 4th table that would tip something. So that's like, okay, sure. You don't know what to do. You're in Times Square. You go eat in Times Square.
And they
If
want
you're
that
from,
shirt because we recognize that logo. And like that's a tourist thing.
yeah,
Like, we can go
it's a
eat there
tourist
and we can
thing.
get the shirt. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. However, if you are from Nebraska, Wisconsin, California, somewhere in the United States, Canada, even, English is your first language, and you can't just ask around your hometown or look up what the food is going to be like when you get there and how expensive it's going to be. First of all, those meals in Times Square are like 3 times the price as they are 1 block away.
It's
Like,
true.
walk up to 8th Avenue or 9th Avenue, 2 blocks away, and get a burger for half the price, and it'll be truly delicious.
Go to Five Napkin Burger. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Those
Oh my
fries.
God, I love Bear Burger, honey.
Stop it.
Don't get me
Obsessed.
started. Don't get me started. Okay, the last one I will read to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Is for the New York Sports Club in Times Square. This is
Where
a
is that?
gym. It was right by where Gentleman's Guide was. Like it's in that hotel, like the
Oh,
Casablanca hotel. I
okay.
love it. I used to go there all the time. I honestly loved it. They have a pool, so I would try to get there at like 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday to swim before my brunch shift at Reposo, and it would be
Oh,
full of people. New York is a very crowded place. Hot take. Okay. So this woman said I had a bad experience here due to terrible management. I had a guest pass. I went for my daily swim. A fellow hopped in my lane. He didn't say anything to share the lane, which classic rude behavior. If you're swimming with somebody, you're invading their personal space. You should ask if they're okay with you sharing the lane. He swam very aggressively and on his side without any consideration of staying on his half, which you're an asshole. He kept kicking and kicking and kicking me until he kicked me until he kicked me so hard he broke my toe. Literally,
no.
I had an x-ray the next day to confirm it. And then it goes on to say like how the manager didn't help her at all. And there are photos for those watching this on YouTube. She took photos of her broken ass toe.
Wait, Tim, you have to send this to me. I want to do it on our podcast.
Okay, you need to do this one. I mean, fair warning for you to do it on the podcast. The review is insanely long, and I don't have time to
That's
read it
okay.
all. But it's I mean, if someone's out there breaking your toe, that's a rude dude.
And
That's
that's
a
also
rude
like
dude.
not New York Sports Club. That's like an incident that happened there. But I'm very intrigued
But
to hear the
but
rest.
but she then goes on to be like, the manager's like, yeah, we've had a problem with this guy before. You need to kick that man out of your gym. That is on New York Sports Club. If he is being that aggressive in the pool and that much of an asshole, you need to revoke his $25 a month membership. You're gonna get more members to stay if this guy's not running around your gym being a fucking dick.
Breaking toes.
Break.
Podcast title.
Podcast title Breaking Toes. This is a podcast where Trey and I just talk about anyone who's ever stubbed their toe and broken it. Ooh, a little.
This is a Mariah Balenciaga candle.
Oh, support Black businesses. Wicked
It's called
Beauty.
Wicked Beauty. But you know who Mariah Balenciaga is?
Up from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
Duh.
Isn't
I
that smart
love
merch? She
Mariah.
sells candles. And I
That's
actually like
genius.
storied about it. And she wrote me and said, thank you so much for supporting me.
Okay, that's so sweet.
I know.
I love Mariah. I think Mariah is like I've
You're
been
neighbors
able
with
to-
her.
I am neighbors with her. I've been able to see
Yeah.
her before she was on All Stars 5. I saw her in like a couple shows around town, and she was like slaying. She looked great. She's like such a fun live performer. She always walks up to everybody in the bar and is like so nice, like very outgoing person. Also, one of the most iconic lines ever in Drag Race history that I think people really sleep on a lot. When Mimi on First and Shangela are having that fight in Untucked, that iconic fight,
Sugar
she
Daddy.
goes, the Sugar Daddy fight. Shangela says something to the effect of like, girl, your fishnets, they were ripped. And Mimi's like, they're not ripped. And they were not ripped. Shangela's like, were the fishnets ripped? I saw the fishnets and they were ripped.
Wait, is that real time or a confessional?
That's real time. They cut.
Saw
It's
the fishnets.
It's Shangela versus Mimi, but Mariah definitely doesn't get enough credit for being such an instigator in that fight. I saw the fishnets and they were ripped. She also is the one that goes. She goes. Shangela goes. Was it camp? They said you could bring glamour. Could you bring glamour? And Mimi said, "This is Lee Bowery, girl." And Mariah goes, "Girl, it was camp." Girl, it was camp. Trey, who is a drag race queen that you would want to see on Broadway?
I don't know. That's a that triggers a lot of complex feelings for me.
Okay, go off.
I don't know.
You can say none.
I mean, like you said
respectable.
before, I feel like Broadway is the creme de la creme, and like you have to like commit your life to being that excellent at that specific skill set. So it's tough for me when someone gets the opportunity without a lifetime commitment to it. Not that going to 4 years of a conservatory where you get a showcase and then you get an agent and then you get to create a role is a lifetime commitment, but that's another point. If you
got into that conservatory, you probably made somewhat of a lifetime commitment from a young age to be very good at what you do to get into that conservatory. You know
okay.
What I mean? Oh.
let's go through the class lists of every conservatory.
Of every conservatory. Okay.
Who on Drag Race would I want to see on Broadway? If Bianca Del Rio did a one-woman show, like how Kathy Griffin did My Life on the D list on Broadway, sure, I would see that.
That's a great answer. I would actually say I would pay good money to see Ginger Minj on Broadway. I think she's a very good vocalist. And
when I do tour. Oh, you know about this? She and Jinx did,
and it was canceled.
Oh, I didn't realize it. It was non-equity, which was like a big drama.
It was? I didn't realize that.
Tour. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that tour was canceled, I heard, due to low ticket sales.
Well, it's an odd choice.
It is an odd choice. It was a strange choice, but that's truly one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's so fun, so funny. I think they probably would have been great in the show. But yeah. Jinx, I would definitely love to see Jinx. See, the thing with like a Jinx and a Ginger is they did spend their lives doing theater. Like having Ginger on the pod, she talks so deeply about, I don't know if you listened to that episode, but she was doing Sweeney Todd in Orlando, and she was Mrs. Lovett. And the Sondheim organization tried to shut the show down. And then they had to send a letter saying, okay, this is not like just a drag queen like doing this winky commenty. This is a like gender fluid person doing drag and playing Mrs. Lovett very authentically. Like as
When was that?
this was years ago, like I think even before she was on Drag Race.
Right. It's a
And
different conversation now.
it's a different conversation now. They tried to shut it down. And so Ginger said that she had to put herself on tape doing a bunch of Mrs. Lovett numbers and send it to the Sondheim organization. And when they saw the tapes, they said, okay, you have the green light, go for it.
Wow.
Yeah, which I think is very telling. And like that I Am What I Am performance that she does
Yeah, it is really
it's
good.
so good. She's somebody that I would definitely, I would want to see.
I rewatched, there was a bootleg on YouTube during the pandemic. I rewatched of that revival of La Cage aux Folles with like the British and that
Douglas
director.
Hodge.
Yes, but whoever that director was, I forget his name. I looked him up. Like it is such a smart production. Like just stripping it down to be dirty and gross and like it's so funny. And Douglas Hodge, like obviously they like were workshopping it and like really like getting in there. Like it's just such a genius take. Like it's like I love when that happens, when someone like really recreates a piece like Cabaret. I mean, the Sam Mendes was like so genius.
I loved that show so much. It was so artistically beautiful. Like you're saying, like it was like it almost felt like this really cool off-Broadway version of the show that made it to Broadway. It was I was so emotional watching that show. I laughed my ass off. And it's fun that, you know, the tea that Harvey Fierstein said, the revival before that, the one that was at the Marriott Marquis, he was like,
Jerry
he was like, I'll never let that show happen like that again. Because it was just too commercial. It was too big. It was missing that
I saw that one as a tourist. I came and I remember I sat in the front. It was really beautiful. I remember like at the opening, it was like 2 levels, kind of like Legally Blonde.
Cool.
Like silhouette, like keyholes, like you were looking through keyholes and it was all the Kajels. I mean, it was like 30 Kajels.
Okay, I love that. Also, Gavin Creel was in that, right?
Yeah, with long hair, which was kind of odd for the son to have long hair, but but it was like stunning. I mean, the production numbers were like ultimate Jerry Mitchell like brilliance. Like, oh my, and they would like tap dance on hat boxes. It was gorgeous. But
fun.
But the story wise, I think the other production was more in line with the intent, you know?
Let me ask you, that makes sense. Let me ask you a Gavin Creel question. Were you one of those fairies like me who listened to Gavin Creel's solo albums?
Oh, yeah. Wait, what was that song? Vegas or he had like one of the songs I played all the time, and now I can't remember now that you've asked
That's how I was too. Michael and I went out on Saturday night and we listened to Saturday Night in the City from The Wedding Planner by sung by Amy Spanger.
Amy Spanger,
Amy Spanger, who I'm trying to get on the pod. And
DC. Going to DC.
That one was fun. On the album before that, I think, there was a song called Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And me and my non-musical theater, non-Broadway friend in Miami, when we would go out to gay clubs, we would blare that song in my car. And it was all about just like being gay. It was like Friday night and the lights are low. And it's just all about going out all weekend. And honey, it's a secret bop that I really think needs to be.
His voice is so
good. So good. Okay, Trey, it's that time of the pod that we like to call, wait, let's have fun. In this podcast, we are going to do some slumber party games. But before we do, is there a movie or a YouTube video or both that you would want to watch with me at a slumber party?
I would want to watch Showgirls with you. I've never watched Showgirls with you. We did have a lot of fun watching Serial Mom together. I rember that.
Oh my God, that was it. I had never seen.
Yeah. I want to watch Showgirls with you. I've never seen Showgirls with you.
Showgirls came into my life recently, like 2016. I think I saw it for the first time, and then Michael and my former roommate, he had not seen it, so we watched it with him during the pandemic, and Michael Henry had never seen it, so we had him watch it too.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
It's the perfect movie to watch with a group, for sure.
I remember watching it on TV on TBS, and they would CGI little bras on. It's a much different movie on cable.
Much different. The CGI bras is like that is a millennial experience that we will hold with us forever, and Gen X experience we will hold with us forever. I said Gen X for you because
Thank you. Thank you. Is
you're
that younger?
late,
Older?
older. You're late Gen
Uh,
X, right? Like you're almost a baby boomer.
Gotta go.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today. No, before you go, okay, if you and I could watch any YouTube video together at a summer party, what YouTube video would I want to put on with you? I'm trying to think of like the many that we have gagged for. Okay,
I mean,
go ahead.
no, go.
A listener of this pod sent me Patrice Tipoki, an Australian alphabet singing Defying Gravity. And it is, I don't think I've ever played this for you before. It is so nuts what she does at the end. I think I played it on the Meatball episode, so I won't play it again. But it is so wild the way she takes up the end of that. It's
All right, I'm
shocking.
gonna listen.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, I
would
feel
wanna
like
gag.
we would definitely watch some sort of like Alphaba thing. I also would enjoy watching with you that guy that riffs the "Thank You for Being a Friend" Golden Girls
Oh,
theme.
so good. So good.
No, oh.
Ah, that was good, Trey. Okay, come on, vocals. Okay, and then a little Mary F. Kill action. Mary F. Kill, Trey. You'd have to marry one, fuck one, and kill one between eating dinner in Planet Hollywood Times Square, going to see Phantom of the Opera, paying full price, and joining New York Sports Club in Times Square and someone breaks your toe.
Oh God. Okay. Actually, this isn't that difficult for me. I saw Phantom for the very first time ever in my life on Broadway. Like I had seen a tour as a kid not too long ago. It was probably in 2019. Our friend Jay Armstrong Johnson was in it.
Oh, we love Jay.
And I did not pay full price, but I would marry seeing Phantom at full price because even though it's dated and whatever, like it's so great. Like you just get to like be in the theater and hear great singing. So I would marry seeing Phantom. I would
I did this wrong. I should have said Cats because, like, of course you'd want to marry Phantom. Like, the singing is amazing, but okay.
And I never saw Cats. I saw a tour with a friend's brother in it, but I never saw it. I didn't see that revival.
Oh, girl.
Wait, do you want me to change it or do you want me to keep going?
No, keep going. Keep going.
I would fuck Planet Hollywood because I don't care. Like, I love burger and fries. Like, it doesn't matter. It can be frozen. I don't
care. Food poisoning? Even with the food poisoning?
I would be Southern and send it back and ask them for spit and to put it in the microwave.
Okay.
And then I would kill having a broken toe. David broke his toe literally like March of the pandemic shutdown. Why do I keep talking about that? Anyway, and it was terrible. It's just horrible. A broken toe is awful. So I don't want that to happen.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I would do the exact same. Yeah, I definitely don't want to break my toe. I don't want to pay full price to see a musical that's been on Broadway for like 20 years, but it's such a good show.
It's music 30 at this point, I think.
$30? 30 years.
I think it's 30, more than 30 years now. Okay, I think it started in 84, 85.
That's a lot of time. And yeah, I would fuck with Planet Hollywood for the nostalgia at the very least. Okay, we have to wrap up. Where can the people find you and follow you?
So you can follow me personally. I'm at Trey Gerrald. That's with 2 R's on all the social platforms. You can follow Review That Review. We are at The Review Queens on all social media platforms. Please listen to the podcast. I'd love to have you, and we just have a lot of fun.
Yes, and you can follow me at tmurray06 on all platforms and get your tickets to see Michael Henry and I in New York City at Union
Hall. I'm so jealous. I'm not going to be
July 12th,
here.
baby. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to do stand-up again. It's going to be a blasty blast.
You two together, that is like the ticket to buy. I'm so jealous.
It's going to be we're going to have so much fun.
Do you want to say it again when I'm not talking over you?
No, I believe, I appreciate your emphasizing.
Okay. All right. Oh, I love you.
Thank you, Trey. I love you. Bye, listeners.